Remy Ma finally dropped the bombshell no one was supposed to hear. Or maybe, deep down, everyone already suspected it, but nobody dared to say it out loud. What happens when hip-hop's queen of loyalty, the woman we've all been told is the definition of strength, pulls back the curtain on her marriage and exposes the ugliest truth? What happens when the fairy tale of hip-hop's so-called perfect couple crumbles in front of millions? You don't just get rumors. You don't just get whispers. You get betrayal, divorce papers, humiliation, and a scandal so messy that even reality TV producers would blush. For years, we were sold the dream. Remy and Papoose weren't just a couple, they were a brand. A story of resilience, sacrifice, and unshakable love. A man who waited while his wife served years behind bars, and a woman who returned home to rebuild her life and career by his side. Together, they were held up as proof that loyalty still exists in the music industry. They were the power couple magazines used as evidence that true love could survive fame, distance, and temptation. But if loyalty means suffering in silence while your man can't even fulfill your most basic needs, then who exactly was winning in this so-called love story? That's the brutal question Remy Ma just forced into the spotlight. The public only ever saw the glossy version: red carpet smiles, coordinated interviews, Instagram posts filled with captions about forever love. For years, hashtags like #BlackLove and #CoupleGoals flooded timelines, as if repeating the words often enough could turn them into reality. But behind that carefully curated image, the cracks had been forming all along. Think back to those awkward interviews where Papoose would hype himself up as the perfect husband, boasting about his loyalty, his sacrifices, his role as protector, while Remy just sat there with that forced smile. At the time, most fans dismissed it as shyness. But now, when you rewatch those clips, they feel like evidence. They feel like receipts. Because according to insiders who have suddenly found their voices, Remy had been holding back the truth for years. Behind closed doors, the Queen of the Bronx was deeply unsatisfied. And it wasn't about money. Papoose was pulling in around $50,000 a battle, with 5 or 6 battles a year. That put him at a comfortable $250,000 annually, respectable by anyone's standards. He had great credit, steady work, and the reputation of being solid. But money doesn't pay the emotional bills. Money doesn't light up a marriage when one partner is left staring at the ceiling in disappointment. And no amount of financial stability can save you when your wife starts whispering to her closest friends that the man the world calls loyalty's king is, in fact, failing her in the most intimate way possible. That's where the whispers began, the bedroom. According to anonymous sources, Remy confided that the battlefield wasn't on Instagram, wasn't in the music industry, wasn't even in the arguments couples naturally have. The battlefield was in the bedroom, and Papoose was losing. Badly. Imagine it. You spend your entire career branding yourself as the supportive husband, the loyal king, the ultimate ride or die. You build your entire public image around being the man who waits, the man who stands strong, the man who sacrifices everything for his queen. Only for your wife to reveal in front of the entire world that you weren't man enough where it mattered most. That your so-called perfect loyalty came packaged with an empty scorecard. And when the queen herself drops that revelation, there's no PR team in the world that can clean it up. Behind the scenes, insiders claim Remy grew tired of pretending. Screenshots allegedly leaked by people close to the couple hinted at late-night confessions, desperate texts, and conversations where she admitted she could no longer carry the weight of the lie. Once resentment creeps into a bedroom, it spreads everywhere else. And by the time fans started noticing that their Instagram posts looked off, that Remy was smiling less, posting less, and showing up without her husband, the damage was already irreversible. And then came the whispers about someone new. A mysterious man who supposedly gave Remy exactly what she'd been missing. According to gossip circulating through Bronx streets and industry backrooms, this wasn't about emotional support or long walks in the park. No, the emphasis was very clear. This man, whoever he was, fulfilled every desire that Papoose allegedly couldn't. Suddenly, every solo picture of Remy, every night out with friends, every sly smile in interviews became evidence. Fans pieced together timelines like detectives, convinced that the Queen of Bronx rap had quietly found her replacement. And then Remy herself added fuel to the fire. On one Instagram Live, she casually mentioned, "Everything is signed and ready to go." At first, fans thought it was just divorce rumors. But when she followed it with the savage line, "He's been acting like the emotional girl he is," the internet exploded. This wasn't just shade. This was demolition. This was the public execution of her husband's entire image. Papoose reacted the only way he knew how: denial. He ran to social media, posting vague quotes about loyalty, betrayal, and family. He claimed Remy was lying, accused her of cheating, and even tried to flex by saying he wrote the majority of her rhymes. But the harder he fought, the more desperate he looked. Because when your wife is casually hinting to millions of fans that another man is giving her everything you couldn't, you don't look strong. You look humiliated. The memes wrote themselves. Pap with a sign that read "loyalty," Remy holding dollar signs. Viral tweets summed it up in savage one-liners. He gave her loyalty, she gave him alimony. Diss tracks surfaced online, with anonymous rappers dropping lines like, "Pap wrote bars, she wrote checks, guess who's still in debt?" Even late-night comedians couldn't resist. The humiliation was no longer private, it was cultural. As the divorce battle heated up, the public learned just how messy things had gotten. Rumors claimed Remy was demanding thousands in spousal support, citing emotional distress caused by the collapse of the marriage. Fans were quick to call it hypocrisy. After all, if she was the one allegedly cheating, how could she claim distress? Meanwhile, sources close to Papoose said he was preparing to demand repayment for every dollar and hour he invested into her brand, from studio sessions to promotional pushes. The legal war wasn't just about money, it was about reputation. Insiders claimed both sides had files of receipts that could completely shatter the other's image. Alleged bank statements, private texts, even audio recordings were said to be waiting like nuclear weapons, ready to drop if either side pushed too far. This wasn't just divorce. This was mutually assured destruction. Then came whispers of the ultimate escalation, a tell-all. Some insiders claimed Remy was preparing a book, working title, All My Desires, that would lay bare the details of her marriage, her struggles, and Pap's alleged failures. If true, that wouldn't just reopen wounds. It would pour salt on them, burn them, and live-stream the entire process. Meanwhile, Pap's camp allegedly threatened to leak sensitive information from Remy's past if she dared go through with it. Blackmail. Strategy. Both sides seemed willing to scorch the earth. Fans couldn't get enough. Gossip sites exploded. Twitter threads ran for miles. Hashtags like #RemyTheSpap and #LoyaltyIsDead trended for days. Bloggers compared the saga to a reality show. One fan joked, "Imagine this on Judge Mathis," while another tweeted, "They need a Netflix doc, not a divorce court." The scandal had officially transformed from personal pain into cultural entertainment. And that's where we are today. The couple once praised as untouchable, the definition of black love has been reduced to memes, rumors, and legal threats. Papoose, once seen as the loyal king, now painted as the man who wasn't enough. Remy, once celebrated for her bars and her comeback story, now accused of savage betrayal and calculated humiliation. The fairy tale is dead, the masks are off, and the world is watching. But here's the part no one wants to admit. In 2025, humiliation sells better than music. This scandal may have destroyed their marriage, but it skyrocketed their relevance. Streams, interviews, headlines, memes, it's all profit. Fans pretend to be outraged, but deep down, they can't stop watching. So, who's the real villain here? Was Papoose just a loyal husband betrayed by a woman who outgrew him? Or was Remy trapped in a marriage that looked perfect on the outside, but was hollow inside? Was her confession an act of truth-telling, or was it a calculated demolition designed to protect her power? Think about the timing. Think about the leaks. Think about that one savage line. "My new man fulfills all my desires." Was it an emotional slip, or was it a deliberate strike meant to end Papoose's reputation once and for all? The wildest part? This might only be the beginning. Divorce papers are just the paperwork. But the rumors of lawsuits, books, and secret receipts suggest the ugliest chapters haven't even been written yet. And when they drop, they won't just rewrite Remy and Pap's legacy. They could rewrite hip-hop history itself. So now it's your turn. Do you believe Remy Ma's confession was the whole truth? Or just her truth? Was Papoose the loyal king betrayed, or the man who failed to live up to his own hype? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this debate isn't just about one couple, it's about the very idea of loyalty in hip-hop.